Jaden Show, and here's your host, Jaden Cornelius. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that's rapidly approaching. I'm so super excited about what Santa's going to leave for me this year. I already have my stocking by the fire in Caribbean, Mexico. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be here. He'll be having a margarita on the beach somewhere in Tulum, probably. But anyway, I have got a super special show for you today. I'm going to Detroit, Michigan to meet singer-songwriter, actor, rapper Matty P. I think we should watch a little bit of him in action now. This is called I Need You. Go and meet this week's special guest, Mr. Matty P. Matty P, welcome to the Jaden Show. How are you doing, lovely man?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I think it's probably a little bit warmer here in Mexico than it is in Detroit, Michigan, right? Is it kind of really, really chilly at the moment?
You know, it's like a high of like 38, I think, but there's no snow outside. So like I'm looking out of a window right now. There's no snow outside. So like knock on wood, we will take that in December in Michigan.
Do you love the snow? Is it, or are you just like some boy? No, really? No. Mate, we got to swap then. We got to do like a little bit of a house share thing because I really miss snow. Oh my God.
No,
I'm Nordic boy, mate. Like, I just get me cold mountains, cold rivers and snow. I'm happy as Larry. Like, this tropical stuff is a little bit hard on that old Jaden, you understand? I'll be honest. So tell me about you, singer, songwriter, rapper, actor. When did, and obviously you're only like 21 years old. So when did this all start for you?
I wish, goodness. God, all of it started. I mean, God, if I'm doing math, I started singing as far as back as I can remember at the age of 4. So that gets like 29 years ago. And yeah, I've never known a time when I haven't loved singing. So I remember like learning like Vanessa Williams' song "Save the Best for Last" as a kid, singing that everywhere. And then like the older I got, like the more and more I got into music. And at like 12, I think 10, somewhere between like 10 and 12, I started writing original songs, and then slowly but surely started, recording, and have like went in and out of that for different spurts of time. But yeah, I've been recording and singing and doing music since I can remember. And it's always been the thing that I love to do that doesn't feel like work.
If you had to choose between singing, songwriting, and acting, could you choose, or do they all kind of float your boat in the same kind of level?
Nope, 100%. I would choose a songwriter first.
Oh, really?
Songwriter, then singer, then actor.
How super cool! Yeah, I've been singing for 32 years, and I still don't really like. I can't not do it because like you said, I've never known a time when I haven't done it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's part of me, even though it's probably. I'm quite like a shy boy at times, so it's probably like the least favorite thing for me to do. Put me in the studio, get me to write and record something, mate. I love that. Videos, photo shoots, love all that shit. Put me on the stage in front of people, I would rather be sitting at home watching Supergirl on Netflix. I've got to be completely honest.
Oh, see, now that's where we did, because I love songwriting. I actually hate recording in the studio. Like I have to force myself to record my songs, because like once you write it, you hear it in your head, and then it's like, ooh, if I start singing it and it doesn't come out the way that I hear it, I'm going to be bothered. So I prefer, if I could just take all of my music and just perform it live and never record it or have a recording of it, I would be totally good. But I hate videos and like, yeah.
Wow. But we've just seen your I Need You video. Look perfectly wonderful, perfectly natural, perfectly wonderful, perfectly natural. So I wouldn't believe that on like any level that is kind of something you don't really like because but I guess that like I was saying, like there's kind of levels of like enjoyment within the industry, right? Some things you just completely feel connected with, and other parts you do it because it's part of the role, right?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah. So when you first started singing "Sometimes the Snow Comes Down in June," was it just in your living room, or was you actually out doing little shows and stuff like that? Was you actually actively singing in public at that age?
No. So I didn't like sing anywhere beyond like singing for like family and friends, just like at home and at school, until like my first real talent show wasn't until like 8th grade, I think. Like where we didn't have a ton of like extracurricular type things and a lot of like opportunity. And my mom was not, rest her soul, she was not the person that was like going to be able to run me around places and do different things.
Yeah.
Once I got to like 8th grade and I won my first talent show, and like people went crazy, and my mom always knew I could sing, but I think like being in there and seeing people's reactions to my voice, like, oh, can I swear, Jaden? I just wondered.
Absolutely, I do all the time. I'm sorry.
I was literally like, she's like, oh shit, and I was like, nope, don't do that. But yeah, like I think from there she realized like started to realize how important it was to me and how good I was. And then after that, it was like everything I'm in, she was at, and if I don't win, she's pissed and yelling at somebody, and I'm like, Mom, like better, it's okay.
Oh mate, my mum is like, you're bloody depressing, you are. That's what she says. She goes, I can't listen to your albums. Bloody depresses me, because I do like I do pop, and like I do a bit of everything now, because since COVID, since like we've realised the fragility of our business, you can pretty much do what you want now and still just be you and have your identity. But before, I was doing classical, crossover, and opera. Popra actually, and so all my stuff was like just pure ballad. Mum was like, no, can't listen to it. Bloody depresses me. That's so I kind of never had that support.
Oh, God, we got to get you that support now, Jaden.
Absolutely. We need to continue this for you as well, hence the Jaden Show. So what is happening like with the song I Need You? Did that become a single? Is it something that you're still, you're still promoting? Is it like, we've done that now, let's move on to new things? And what's happening with your music at the moment?
Yeah, Jaden, that's a great question. So for literal purposes, I Need You was it was like the most proper single from my like full length debut album Single AF that I put out in 2019.
Okay.
So that song, I literally did a video for that song because it almost got scrapped from my album. I was not convinced that it was like, I was like, I don't know, these lyrics feel a little too like simple for me. And I have a twin brother who is also featured on that album. And he was like, no, I love this song. And I've been playing it for people when they stop by the studio when I'm working on it. And they're like, no, this song is fire. So I ended up making it a single just by coincidence.
Wow, cool.
Also met my fiance who was in the video. We met
yeah.
Like that was like our first time meeting is literally like in that video recorded. So
you didn't know each other before that video?
No, I made a Facebook post and a mutual friend like was like, hey, you should reach out to this guy. I think he'd be good for your video. He said yes. We met that day and we're getting married next September. So
if you see I've done like a little reggaeton pop video, which is actually on my YouTube, and I had the same. Literally, I was like, shit, I've got to do this thing with this guy, and there's no guys available today. So my mate was like, I'll bring my straight mate down. I'm like, all right then. But it didn't quite happen for me the same way as it did for you. But you need to watch it.
Look, I actually it was like such a funny thing. But so that song, so I mean, like as an independent artist, I don't feel like we're ever done promoting stuff just because like I mean there's only so many people that know the song, that have heard the song. So like for somebody that's not familiar with me, it's a brand new song.
Absolutely.
But personally and creatively, I'm moving towards and actively like promoting my next project. So I've got 2 singles out for my upcoming album called Yellow that will be coming like late spring, early summer of 23. But I've got my single Your Move and my single Imagination that I'm more actively promoting. And I literally like to the left of me is my microphone and my computer and my mixer and everything else. So like literally am sending over vocals for that project still. We've got like 15 songs like fully ready to go, but I've got like another 8 that still need to get mixed and mastered, and another like 7, 8 that I want to record, and then I'll pick apart it and figure out what I really want to put out. But
it's a big process, right? I love when people say, why don't you just put out a new album? I'm like, right, because it ain't that easy, son. That's why, because it's like really technical, really like brain numbing and fucking expensive.
Yeah. Like it's trying to figure out and like downsize, because like I love all of these songs and I think that other people would love them, but I'm also a listener of music, and I'm like, if I look at your album and you've got 32 songs on the album, I'm overwhelmed, and now I'm probably not gonna listen, or I'm gonna like quickly skim through it, and I don't. So it's trying to find the right way to put that stuff out there.
Well, that's 2 albums worth of material you've got, dude.
It is. I mean, look, depending how I do it, I can stretch it to 3. So we'll see. But for sure, I've got to put this album out next year, because I recorded what was the standard version of this in October of 2020, and I've spent all of the last 2 years like tinkering with it. So it's got.
I was going to ask you actually, because like you put I Need You out literally as COVID hits the world. So it was like, oh shit, I just been walking down the street, holding hands with someone, with my mates. And now all of a sudden I'm in isolation. Like, that's really buggered up this release. How did it affect you?
You know, the pandemic, honestly, that was how him and I really got to build like our friendship and get to know each other, and then slowly but surely like build our relationship. And the other really awesome thing was that during the pandemic, that's when I did most of the writing for my next album. So I had a goal in 2020 to get to like 200 songs by the end of the year. And coming into the year, I was at like 85 songs that I had written for 2 years. And I was like, let's get to 200. Literally wrote the entire main album of Yellow over about a 8-day period while him and I were first like really getting to know each other. So it was really for me, like creatively, and it was also really great for me personally
Yeah.
because, we got to nurture this new relationship, and without having all of the outside things that we could do, it kind of forced us into,
Focused.
yeah, like
Yeah.
focus on other, and it really it helped to spark me creatively
And
because
that's what I was going to say. Absolutely. And there's nothing like a bit of new love that kind of gets
yes,
those creative juices flowing, right?
every time single AF, like
Yeah.
I thought that was done. I started like kicking it with somebody really casually, wrote a song all like lovey-dovey, and then we stopped talking just as quickly, and I wrote like my most scathing song yet to wrap up. Like maybe I'm just dating people for the purposes of getting creative inspiration,
Right.
and then God, it's like we're done. We're all set. We got what we needed.
Absolutely. It's all emotional material for your songwriting, right?
Yes.
Absolutely. So, shitloads of albums coming out in 2023 by the sounds of it. What about live performances and things like that?
Yeah, so I'm working on that part. I've done a handful of performances throughout this past summer and like the first half of this year. A lot of it, I have to be honest, a lot of it is like it just is like right ahead of time. It's like, hey, are you free for this? And hey, are you available for this date? So I'm working on that. I haven't put a huge push on performing at this moment just because like one, this is part of why I don't like the cold, Jaden, because in the cold, going in and out, it's always rough on the voice.
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
I'm like, ooh, I don't want to. Do I want to perform outside? And maybe out, and I might say yes. And then as soon as I get there, I'm like, damn, why did we do this? Because I'm gonna feel like hell tomorrow. And there's no singing, there's no talking. But so once I get into like the real heavy promotional part for this album, which I'm planning for like February, early March of next year to like really start working on that. My hope is to be booking a few more shows and getting some more stuff cooking. So right now we're just laying low and
Okay. Seeing out the winter, and then when it starts warming up, so will you be.
yes,
Bloody
that part
lovely.
we're gonna thaw out.
Bloody lovely. So, Vanessa Goddess Williams, who else would have been your kind of your sit back and listen to, your icons, your muses when you were younger and now?
Goodness. So the funny thing is a lot of that stuff hasn't changed. Mariah Carey has always been like my girl. Love her songwriting, her singing, her production. Like she just does all things and she does them so well. And I love everything about Mariah Carey. Rihanna is another person who I love because where Mariah, I'm like all about vocals and songwriting and the singing part. Rihanna has something different that's like, hey, it's rare that you hear people say like, oh, Rihanna's the best vocalist because like technically speaking,
Yeah.
there's people with more technical skill, but her voice is so unique. Her sound is so her own. And she's like a chameleon in everything. Like Rihanna literally sing any genre, any kind of music and make that shit sound so good.
Yeah,
And so
absolutely.
she's another like those are like my two biggest inspirations when I think about like my sound and my process as an artist because I'm very mindful of the idea that I don't want to box myself into something because
Yeah,
I feel like like all of us like creatively and you kind of alluded to this earlier, we kind of get into that space where we're like, all right, I've got to stick with this sound and it's got to match this image and this thing. It's part of why I'm not great on social media because like I have a hard time like putting an aesthetic out because I'm like, it's just me. Like I've got country music ready to go. I've got gospel music ready to go. And it's just like, is that what I want to put out at this moment? Because I know that creatively and as a fan, people get thrown off when artists branch out too much too
deviate
quick.
too much. Yeah.
So it's trying to find that weave to be able to evolve in a way that is natural for me and it's also like palatable for the audience to get through.
Yeah,
But
I think you were just saying about Rihanna as well that pretty much she could sing like the telephone book and she's going to sound like Rihanna and she's going to do it like exquisitely. So actually, you probably could do anything. You're always going to sound like Matty P and you're always going to be doing it with your flavor, right? So actually, you probably could like, I remember like back in the 90s when I like had my record deals and stuff, God forbid if you veered off these particular writers, these particular producers, this particular, it was pop R&B back in the 90s, like the whole Backstreet Boys kind of thing.
Yep.
God forbid you put any other flavor within that. Like, that's not going to happen. You're going to be dropped like tomorrow. Whereas now, like I do, like I sing often now, probably more than I've ever done, and I can sing All I've Ever Wanted by Mariah Carey, and I can sing something by the Eagles and Desperado by the Carpenters, and I don't know, like something by Whitney Houston or Tina Turner, and I always like Jaden, and then I might end up with Pavarotti. And people don't go, this is weird, man. This ain't gelling. But because I'm always true to me, I'm not trying to be any other artists. It kind of flows all right, you know. And I think that's kind of, I think COVID has allowed us to be a little bit more flexible. I think with who we are as artists, because like I said beforehand, this is Matty P, and he is just doing this. Whereas now
that's it.
Because at the end of the show, we're going to be showing No Justice, which, you know, you're rapping. So, you know, love that tune as well. Absolutely. Really.
Thank you.
Tell me the story. I mean, obviously, it's kind of like an obvious story, but and it's obvious the things that kind of inspired that story. But tell me a little bit more about your feelings towards that song and why you did it.
So, thank you for giving me the space to like speak about this and all these things, Jaden. With that song in particular, like 2020 was just like, it was a really pivotal year for me, just on so many levels. And one of the things that I have always wanted to incorporate into my music, and just it never found like a natural way where it came in organically. And I don't believe in forcing things. Like, I don't want to force lyrics. I don't want to force topics, but I always love, you know, when artists take some political stances, and like, not even necessarily political, but like they are very clear about, this is how I feel about this thing, and this thing, like a hot topic, you know, polarizing type of stance in life. And in 2020 in particular, just in America, we have just had there's been so much racial tension. And I don't think that that's ever not been present. I think that, you know, I won't call him a leader, but the person that we had in charge of Twitter and in charge of our country, you know, we had a lot of stuff that just pushed people away. And there was so much stuff happening with police brutality, just repeatedly with Black people in America. So many things that are just working against us. And it was like, Jesus, like all we're trying to do is live life, and you are making it hard. And I was doing a lot of protesting at that time. And that was part of how like my fiance and I really started hanging out. He was like, oh, I see you're protesting. Like, I want to come with you. And I was like, oh yeah, like come with me. Like, and it was such an empowering thing to be out marching and doing things with the different groups in the Detroit area, because I felt like if everybody is in this pandemic, we are out here with masks on in the fucking heat going because we're upset and we're tired. And it was just that I was so exhausted of what it means to be Black in America. And I was like, people just don't get it. And I happened to just be like going, you know, like I'll sit down, I write all my songs in the bathroom, literally like sitting on a toilet. Like that's my creative space. But I was listening to this beat, and the beat that I ended up using for No Justice, like it was speaking to me. And I was like, I think we're going to wrap this one. Hold on a minute. And I just started writing it, and like, it came out so easily and so quickly. I was like, okay. And I literally like I wrote it, and then the next day I recorded it, and then like the next week I put it out, because I was like, this song is like necessary right at this moment. I need it out today because I'm upset, and I need I want to give people another space, because it was like, I've been at all these protests, and like everything's been hella peaceful, but the police are still like shooting tear gas and rubber bullets at us for no reason. And people are getting arrested, and there's all these things. And it's like, we're literally just out here exercising what are supposed to be our rights. And so it was just one of those things where I was like, I have to make it a point to talk about this in my music, because it's not going to allow me to evolve. I have to speak on these things. And I'm speaking from someone who is, I mean, my mom was white. My dad is Black. Like, I'm a mixed person. Outwardly, I still am considered Black, but I'm even in a better space than people that identify fully as Black. You know, even just lighter skinned. It's like, I have rights and I have the privileges that don't exist for other people because of how we are set up socially. So it was one of those songs for me that just I was annoyed. I was annoyed. I was tired, and I was like, "Fuck this! We're going to put it in the music." And yeah, it's easily my most. It's my most like aggressive track that
And
I've done.
did you feel that was some kind of therapy and kind of exercising almost after you'd done that? Did it
Yeah.
get rid of a lot of kind of like the pent up thoughts and the injustice and everything that was going on? Did that help you to do that?
Yes, it did help. Look, I mean, it didn't get rid of it, but it was
No.
like I feel like and I'm doing my part out in the streets protesting, but I'm also doing my part in a way that is real for me
Yeah.
by making it and talking about it in this fashion. So it was a the best of both worlds for me in that
Well, it's
song.
never going to get rid of it until it stops.
Yeah.
Right? So, do you know, I'm like, obviously, I'm a Brit boy living in Mexico. So I hear snippets of what was going on with, I kind of don't listen to United States political stuff because it kind of almost sometimes sounds like some weird ass reality TV show. Do you know what I mean? Like the president that they were called in a paedophile 5 years ago, when Trump finished, all of a sudden became like the best thing since sliced bread as well. Do you think that obviously all that problem, all that like when Obama was president, obviously handsome man, elegant, educated, sensible, like he really held that position super well. Do you think that all the discrimination was suppressed, and when that the wigged wonder came on, that all of a sudden, rather than it all of a sudden people were now being racist and discriminative, that actually it was just like the suppression because you'd had a black president. So now it was almost like Mount Vesuvius and everything was like, whoa, man. Like, so it was already there, but it was underground. For me, it kind of felt like it was more dangerous when on, and I don't know, so because I'm not there and I'm not black, obviously. But when it's hidden and when it's kind of like, suppressed, for me, that scares me more than when it's out in the open. And now I know you're an arsehole and a racist bigot. You know what I mean? So I was trying to think like maybe on some level, and I don't know, and this is I'm probably going to get lots of hate mail for this, but maybe on some level it done the United States good, taking the band-aid off all this shit, where people like you had something, could start saying, because it was more obvious than it had ever been before, apart from obviously back in the day.
Yeah, like I'm with you 100% on that, Jaden. I think for me, I respect you more by just like standing in who you are and what you believe. If you are just racist to the bone, I would rather you just own that than give me pleasantries because you feel like you have to.
You have to,
so
yeah, absolutely.
That regard, that's the one thing that I appreciate, if you will, is that just that of like, I mean, at the very least now, like I know where you stand, because as somebody who is mixed, it was something even like within my family. Like I got into it with a bunch of my family online because it's like you're posting things that are in like a direct, like opposite side of what I'm talking about as a black person, because you are posting from a space as a white male or as a white woman, as someone that's straight identifying. Like your perspective is different, and in standing in that, you are diminishing like who I am and everybody else who looks like me and acts like me. And I'm like, I don't want to be the exception. I don't want to be your black relative who you're like, he's a good one, but the rest of those people no. So
it happens with the gays as well, right?
Oh my god, yes.
Like it's just full on discrimination. It's quite interesting. Like when I was in the 90s, I was in a pop group called Beyond. It was me and my friend Steve and my two friends Elaine and Nat. Elaine and Nat were black. Steve was kind of like, I don't know, Mediterranean looking. I was obviously your typical blonde English boy. And I remember doing a radio show. I think it was like Capital Radio. So it was like the biggest radio show in London. And they went, so what is it like to be like a multiracial group? And we were just like, are we? It was like, oh shit, we are. Actually, we're just mates. And we didn't even notice that we weren't until it was like, shit, we're just mates doing our thing. Like we're musicians and we're friends and we're family, and color don't even come into that shit.
Like it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like, I mean, in real life, like it can be embarrassing when I'm like, other countries have to look at us like we are fucking buffoons because of the things that happen here and like the ways that people try to justify, you know, all of the bigotry and all of the things that people want to hold on to. It's just, it's mind boggling to me because I can't wrap my head around it. And I'm just like, some of y'all are exhausting. You don't deserve the brain space to think about it.
I get that, yeah. And it is kind of, you know, say I don't hear much, say I just really just concentrate on my music and I kind of stay away from kind of the majority of political issues, just on the sense that because it's just beyond insane. Like I really don't see, I live in Mexico and my partner's, you know, Mayan, you know, like I'm from a white family, but my dad's sister was mixed race. Do you know what I mean? It's like I lived where I lived when I was younger. I was like the only white boy in my class because I lived in a predominantly Asian community. So it kind of just always baffled me that people were discriminative because I've never seen us anything as just us, you know? Yeah. So, and anyway, so you've released this song, No Justice. How do you feel it's been received?
You know, I mean, for the folks that have heard it, I've gotten a lot of really great feedback on it. It's again, as an independent artist, I'm building up like that audience and still building up a lot of people. So there's quite a few people that haven't heard it, but I feel really good about the song. I'm really proud of this song. I'm proud of the message. And it was something that was important to me. So just on that alone, it's one of those like creative things I've had to like get my mind into before releasing stuff of like, all right, I don't want to put expectation on it.
Yeah.
How do you feel about it? How did the people that are like most important to me, like what's their feedback? Because I get that prior to putting out most things. But you know, as long as that's good, I'm like, I will put it out.
Yeah.
I'll do my part, and then I will leave other people to take from it what they will.
What they want, absolutely. Well, I'm very excited to play it after this interview. Where can people find you on social media and music download platforms?
Yes. Okay. Literally, you can find my music like everywhere. So you can buy it on iTunes. You can buy it on Amazon. If there's a place to buy it, you can find it there. Please make sure that you use Matty P with a period when you search it. I am half white. I am not a white rapper. So I don't want you to go to the wrong space. You can follow me on social media, on Instagram, on Twitter, __ Matty P Music. You can also follow me on Facebook and like my Facebook page. That's also under Matty P Music. Again, P with that period. And on TikTok as well. And I'm, for all of the folks that do follow me, all right, I am actively and consciously working to be better on social media. I am a person that is a social media spectator. So I love being on it for other people's stuff. I just don't like posting myself because it feels too self-important and I don't care that much. But as an artist, I've gotta get with it, and I've got to.
We need to be hearing and seeing, mate.
Yes.
That's your New Year's resolution 2023. Not only putting out shed loads of albums, but also sort your social media presence out so we know where we can find you.
Tons of content, yes.
Okay. Otherwise, we'll be chatting about that another point. Okay. Matty P, thank you so much for being on my show. You're a superstar, dude, and I'm really, really, really excited to share your work with my 7 fans and the greyhounds that watch my show. It'll be wonderful. But also.
And every fan counts. And Jaden, thank
you so much. Absolutely. And also, when your new album comes out, I really feel that we should meet up again and have another chat to talk about your new album.
100% we will. I will. You know what? The next time I come on here, Jaden, I will bring you a premiere so that you can premiere a song.
Ooh.
And talk about the album.
Liking that. Bloody liking that. Matty P, thank you for being part of the Jaden Show. You're a superstar, and we will catch up soon. Take care, my friend.
Bye.
Super wonderful chatting to Matty, wishing him all the love and luck and success in the world for his upcoming album, maybe albums. Who knows what 2023 has for that young man. So please show brother some love. Go and find out all about him. Go and check him out on his social media. Go and download his music on his music download and streaming platforms. You're going to love all of his stuff. And as promised, I'm going to leave this show with No Justice that we were talking about at the end of the interview. So you need to be hanging on just a little bit longer to catch that video. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow me. Don't forget to check me out on my social media, Jaden Cornelius with an IOUS. I'm everywhere. So you've got to just Google me and find me and then come and say hello. Thank you so much for being part of my show. Please subscribe, please share, please comment, please like, and I will see you next week with a wonderful guest on the Jaden Show. Take care. Bye-bye.
I said no justice, no peace. Fuck these racist ass police.
If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. I'm tired of waking up with all this weight up on my chest. Breonna Taylor got killed months ago, but still there's no arrest. And these bitch ass cops just get put on administrative leave. And our tax dollars pay for them to point their guns at me. You can't be black and try to go to sleep up in your crib. And you can't be black and go outside to jog by where you live. And you can't be black and sit outside to watch birds at the park. Cause KK Karen calling boys in blue to kill you where you are. They use their race to weaponize the hate inside their soul and try to justify your death, but yo, it's all on video. But we know that don't matter when that shit play out in court. Let you bitches say not guilty, we ain't holding back no more. No faith in the justice system, all that shit's corrupt. So you can save your PC statements cause we just don't give a fuck. Cause we was in the trenches, built this country on our backs. Don't be mad about the fire when it's y'all that lit the match. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. I'm tired of explaining what it means just to be black. Just for waking up this color, go outside and get attacked. So don't tell me that I'm angry or to fix my attitude. Cause your privilege makes you blind, can walk a mile up in my shoes. And fuck your all lives matter, cause we never said they don't. But it's black lives that these motherfucking cops can't leave alone. And don't start with that bullshit telling us to just comply. Cause even when we follow orders, somehow still we die. While white dudes go shoot up a church and leave without a scratch. And have the nerve to stop at Burger King while chauffeured in the back. And then they go to court and always wanna plead insanity. Say I was under duress because these people pick on me. We can't win in a system that's designed for us to lose. And we're more than just a headline turning on your evening news. So bring your vest and bring your guns, we ain't scared of ya. All my life I had to fight, bitch, I'm black in America. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. If we don't get no justice, we gon' fuck some shit up. Hey.
Justice, no peace.